How much emirs received as annual salaries from British colonial master. The northern elite benefited from colonialism. From the very start, the Sultan of Sokoto, the Shehu of Borno, and the Emir of Kano were each placed on a fixed salary of £6,000 per annum, and a yearly establishment allowance of £3,000 for the Sultan and of £1,500 for each of the other two. All the other emirs in the north were also placed on fixed salaries and allowances, which though smaller were equally extravagant. Having regard to the present general standard of living among the masses the people, these salaries and allowances are, to say the least, indefensible even today. They were much more so in 1900, and if the full facts had been publicly known in the South at the time, the educated nationalists of Southern origin would have kicked up a mighty row. The British knew this, and they therefore saw to it that the North was hermetically sealed to Southern Nigerian nationalists. Nigerian lawyers, who were champions of the rule of law those days, had no locus standi in the courts operating in the North. They therefore had no incentive to travel the long distance to an unknown and reputedly hostile territory. Other educated self-employed Southerners were discouraged from visiting the North. No Nigerian, however highly placed, was allowed to travel in a compartment higher than third class on the railways. In the early 20s, a barrister by name Colonial, who made a courageous attempt to visit the North, apart from not being permitted to travel in the train class of his choice, was beaten up severely at Zaria railway station, and was obliged to return to Lagos from that station in most humiliating circumstances, without reaching Kano. Although strong representations were made to the government in Lagos, the only reply received was, "The matter is being investigated." And that was the end of the matter. A visit to any part of the South by any educated Northerner was strictly forbidden, unless it took place under the close guidance and supervision of a British administrative officer from the North. The British administrative officers posted to the South were not even trusted for this purpose. Until the late 40s, it was a grave risk for a Northerner to express any view critical of British rule in Nigeria. The first Northerner to do so, to our knowledge, was the headmaster of a native authority school in the North. He lost his job within a week of his articulation. A long period of ruthless persecution followed, and he was obliged to leave his home for Lagos, where he was employed for some time in the Secretariat of the Nigerian Youth Movement. Fear of Fulani's invasion. Okeogun elders meet, move to avert herders' influx. Fear of the unknown presently hangs over the 10 local government areas that make up Okeogun, Oyo State. The local governments include Atisbo, Iripo, Isayin, Iwajoa, Itesiwaju, Kajola, Olorunsago, Orlope, Saki East and Saki West. Elders raised the alarm that the areas are under threat of foreign Fulani invaders, who may be plotting to use their communities as a launch pad to take over Southwest and perhaps the entire country. At the mid-year meeting of the Okeogun Council of Elders, OCE, in Ibadan, the elders noted, Okeogun is one of the focal areas that the foreign marauders are using as entry point into Nigeria. The council also took note of incidents of kidnapping for ransom largely being perpetrated by suspected Fulani terrorists. The meeting under the chairmanship of the council's president, Atunba Bamadil Dada, a former Minister of State for Agriculture and Water Resources, warned, fears expressed by the communities are not based on conjecture or pessimism, but on verifiable observations by experts. The council took note of the alarm raised by the former Director of Military Intelligence and current Chairman, Oyo State Security Network, Emoticon, General Kunle Togun, IETD, on the influx of foreign Fulani Bororo who seem bent on taking over many lands in Nigeria, particularly in the southwest. His view was corroborated by the pioneer and current directors of the Institute for Peace and Strategic Studies, IPSS, Professors Isaac Olawale Albert and Tajuddin Akanji. The OK Ogun elders expressed serious concern on this matter because OK Ogun, which they represent, is one of the focal areas that the foreign marauders are using as an entry point into Nigeria. A communiqué signed by Jare Ajayi on behalf of the council further lamented what they called an apparent bias of the security agencies, particularly the police, who they claimed always took the side of the herders whenever there was a clash, even when the indigenes of the community were the casualties. When farmers and herders have clashes, security agencies, especially the police, tend to side with the herders even when the farmer is the victim. Instances abound in which when, for instance, a cow ate tubers or grains sprayed with chemicals in a farm and something happened to the cattle, the farmer would be forced to pay for the dead cow even when it was the cattle that came to the farm. In this respect, security agencies, especially the police, are called upon to ensure fairness and justice in their handling of farmers' or herders' clashes. The only thing that will give us peace of mind is for the federal and Oyo state governments to beef up security in the area, as well as adequately equip security agencies to enable them enforce the anti-open grazing law promulgated by the state government. Considering its potential to put an end to, or considerably reduce, the frequent clashes between farmers and herders, the anti-open grazing law enacted in November 2019 should be put into operation without further delay. The elders frowned at the activities of illegal mining in the area. Government should take positive actions on the mining activities going on in the area with a view to ensuring that the local people benefit. Unlike the present situation in which outsiders, including non-Nigerians, derive greater benefits through the illegal mining activities going on there. The Council also noted with concern the strike action embarked upon by members of the vigilance group established by local governments in OK Ogun as a result of poor and irregular remuneration. It urged the governments concerned to, as a matter of urgency, respond positively to the demands of the striking security personnel as their service is very critical. Besides calling on the federal government to complete work on the long-abandoned Ikea Gorge Dam, the elders also urged state government to set up an OK Ogun Development Commission to redress the age-long marginalization of the area. Elders at the meeting include Deacon S. A. Oyedemi, Professor Lei Eganjobi, Elder Doja Oladil, Pastor Tunde Adigun, ACP Funkla Digbalu, Alpha Amusa Debasi, Mr. Wal Oladikan, Mr. Isaac Fump Ogiemi, Bayo Tuluwales, Mr. I. Taiwo, Mr. Solomon Ige, Mr. I. E. Balaja and Mr. David Arimu. Thanks for watching. Please share, like and subscribe. Thanks.